Hi, I'm your host, Joe Smith. Welcome to this edition of the Keep Hope Alive show. To this session, what I would like to do is to take you into a little bit about what the show's concept and what its focus is going to be and what we're hoping to achieve. I first started the show back in New Britain, Connecticut in 1996. Local after the first two shows, the mayor of New Britain, Linda Bernowski, and then at that time, Congressman Joe Lieberman took favor in the show because of the direction and the base of the show's focus on hope. What is hope? We're always looking to have hope. We hope for hope. But what really is the definition of hope? According to the dictionary, hope is a feeling of optimism or a desire that something will happen. For an example, when a person believes his life situation will improve and his run of bad luck will end. Back in New Britain, we had a situation to where it was around election time. Things wasn't going too good. It was the economy. The economy was really outrageous at that time. It was hard for folks who own homes, who had jobs paying high taxes. It was an array of different things that was going on, and things did not look so good. Joe Lieberman had decided to run for the Senate, and I was listening to what he had to offer, and that's when it hit me that there is hope. Even in the darkest times, even when things don't look that good, even when the things we hope for seems to fall and to fail, and it just don't seem like there's going to be anything good coming out of a bad situation. Well, with that focus that Senator Lieberman had at that time, kind of sparked an idea into what I was thinking. And my thought was that, yes, there is some hope. There is hope. And so there I began to think and build the concept around the basis of hope. When we face optimism, there's hope. The Bible tells us that hope, it's not faith, but it is faith is the substance of things that is hoped for. Sometimes we can't see hope, but hope is there. So it's the substance of. And what is the substance of? The substance is of what you believe, what your change is, what you're hoping your change will be. That is the substance. It is the thing that we hope for, but is the evidence of things that's not seen. You can't always see hope, but there is hope. As the old folks used to say, there is a silver lining at the end of a rainbow. Okay. So you say. In your struggles, it's hard to really see that type of change. But when you really look at the forefront and look at the basis of the concept of what hope is, it tells us it is evident. The evidence of a thing, the evidence of things that we don't see, but that we hope for. So when we look at the darker side of the situation, we can see a little light at the end of a tunnel. Do it always work out? No, no, no. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Hope is just what it is. It's hope. And hope is the key to leading us to a better way of thinking, oftentimes a better way of living. Everyone has hope. Without hope, what is our existence? What is our, focus, our goal? What is our ending? We hope for a lot of things. We hope for change. Oftentimes, we get disappointed by hope. But doing my research, during my time being on the political aspect, which you try to get away from, but you can't always necessarily get away from it. Why? Because without the political access or without the political side, you really can't grasp what hope really is. Because hope simply comes from something that is negative. So what we decided to do here with the show is to take the negative and produce the positive. So in the upcoming episodes, in some of the interviews that we will see, you will be viewing, you will see these changes. You will see how it's more easier to view hope and to look at hope and to understand hope once you accept the negative side of it and then focus on change. So stay with us. Don't go nowhere. We're going to talk a little bit about what to expect, what to look for in upcoming episodes. So stay right there. We're going to take this brief intermission and we'll be right back.
You're a numbers guy? Let's talk stats. More than 220,000. That's how many American men will be diagnosed this year alone with the second most common cancer in men, prostate cancer. That's 1 in 7 men. 1 in 5 if you're African American. 1 in 3 if you have a brother or father that's been diagnosed. Do you know your stats? Talk to your doctor about your prostate health and visit knowyourstats.org today and stay in the game for life.
Welcome back. Let me take you into a look a bit more history of where the show in the past has taken us and to try and bring you up to the future. The show basis had produced over 100 episodes of 3.5, 4 years of recording, and it was a joy and a pleasure. But as we were speaking about before, with hope, so many things was going on at that time to where the show even came in and talking with Senator Lieberman and what have you. Another birth kind of came into play. And I remember one of my bishops telling me that, well, let me say it this way. We were in St. Louis, Missouri, and I walked up to one of our most prominent bishops from Baltimore, Maryland, and I was introduced to him. I was the president of the youth organization for our district, Church of God in Christ. I was the overall president, the YPP president. And when I was introduced to him, I said to him, in effect, that, I'm Joe Smith, I'm the president of the YWWP, and blase. Well, an interesting response that he replied with was, "That's all nice and good." He said, "But don't tell me what organization you belong to." He said, "Tell me what is the difference that you make in that organization. That is what impresses me. It's not who you are, it's what you're about." And that kind of, I guess, in a way, sound provocative or negative or kind of downgrading. It's like, well, who are you? I mean, you ain't nobody. But then, in the frame mind of thinking with hope, I looked at it on the other side. That made a lot of sense. I mean, it's oftentimes that we introduce ourselves to somebody with a title or a position that, it kind of makes us feel prominent, lifted up, lifted high. And in all actuality, a title is just that. It's just a title. A title does not make the person. But when he said to me what he said, "Tell me the difference," or "Tell me what you are doing to make a difference in that organization," that in itself gave me more hope. It gave me hope because at that time, it was, if you were a person of high value or prominence, you were somebody. And you represented a face. Oftentimes, a face is just that. It's just a face. If you're not doing anything, yeah, okay, so I'm the president of the YPP. Okay, all right. So that gives me what? Special privileges. But what am I doing for the young people? What difference did it make? Is it my title that makes the difference? Because when I walk into a room, they say, "Hey, here's the president of Church of God in Christ, second jurisdiction." Oh, wow. What? You stand up and salute? No, 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 no. It's not that makes the difference. And I grabbed on to what he was saying. Instead of looking at it in a negative way, it became positive. For most individuals, when you downgrade their position and don't give them that recognition, they kind of like, "Well, who the heck are you? What do you do?" There was a message. And the message was making a difference. Okay, what? Making a difference. How do that ties in with it? When we hope for things, we hope things get better, not get worse. So it really made a lot of perfect sense to me that when he said, "Tell me the difference," what was I doing that made the YPPW better? Or did I just step into the shoes of a continuation of everything going the same way? And when I started thinking about that, the spark came to my mind is there were families who had jobs who couldn't afford babysitters, who couldn't afford daycare. And if you had your child in daycare, you had a certain time. Most of the people, they had to work overtime. They had to work endlessly, countlessly. They would have to work beyond the hours of daycare operations. And I had thought to myself, well, here in New Britain, we don't have a daycare. And it was odd because one of the conversations that we ventured into with his organization there in Baltimore was 24-hour daycare to help the working parents to continue to provide. So when I got back to New Britain, I started thinking, and I sat down with Mary Boylowski, and we were talking, and I said, well, there was an interesting thing. And I told her about our conversation, and she said, you know, Joe, that'd be great if we had that here. And so the wheels of thought began to roll, began to turn, and light bulbs began to light up. Oh, it was exciting. It was the most amazing thing. I was looking for tons of support to get behind, to make this difference, to make this change. So I came up with a concept of a sliding scale 24-hour daycare. That was my hope. That was my hope, that it would go over 100% smooth, no bumps, no curves. But that's where things didn't quite go. It had a lot of bumps. It had a lot of curves. But hope kept me fighting, and it kept me going. And one of the things, and the birth of the Keep Hope Alive Foundation came to life. I said, well, if I can't do this individually, I said, there's a way I could possibly get this done, and that is through a foundation. If I get the support and the funding through the foundation to get the program to going. Well, make a long story short, I went through a whole year of communication, conversations, appointments, and it was like a direction that was almost, how would you say, unfallible. But each time it hit a bump or hit a curve. Without hope, I could have easily said, this is not going to work. Nobody's interested. But see, hope, it makes you fight. It makes you to want to develop, do, move, motivate. However you want to put it. It keeps the wheels, it keeps the juices, flowing. When I coached track at EC Goodwin Tech, I used to always tell my runners, I don't care who we face or who we go up against, just remember one thing. A winner never quits, and a quitter never wins. So you got to have that hope that you can make it from point A to point B. So even with the hiccups, even with the bumps and the curves and the nose, I had this passion for hope to keep me going, because it was the one thing that I knew it was evident that would happen only if I fought for it. Sometimes you got to fight for hope. You can't let hope die. You got to fight for it. So, Keep Hope Alive Foundation.
Megan she was vibrant.
Shane is my son, 2 years old, forever 2.
Chance loved to dance and sing.
I put Shane down for his nap, just like any other day.
I woke to my husband screaming, Kim, Kim, oh God, Kim. And that's when I saw the dresser was on top of her. He said she was under her dresser, she was under her dresser.
I went to wake him from his nap at dinner time, and I found him under his dresser. Our family didn't know about anchoring furniture. It's a hidden danger in the home.
Instead of putting a hole in the wall, I have to carry this hole in my heart.
You're not supposed to bury your child. If we had known the steps that we could have taken, it wouldn't have happened. Don't take a chance on this happening to you, because no parent should ever have to go through this.
Please anchor it.
So let's talk a little bit about the Keep Hope Alive Foundation. Well, once we got the Keep Hope Alive Foundation started and we got the support from the chief of police for the city of New Britain, we had the support from the backing from the mayor, we had the support from our congressman, Joe Lieberman. We had numerous and number of agencies that had got in behind and that supported us. And finally, the concept, and again, through the show, the concept of moving forward seemed to look a little bit better than it did at the beginning. So we fought for 5 years to get things on the right track, get things going, get the belief, get people to feel. And the whole thing was, it was a success of the show. It drew in the numbers. Keep Hope Alive show was the #1 show for Nutmeg Broadcasting at that time, and had a close relationship with the president and the executive producer for Nutmeg. I mean, we did endless counts of shows. I mean, we went, there was no variety. There was no one topic. We covered just about everything that had to do with society, with community, with families, with social, political. Me and Roy Upwards, who was the president at the time for the NAACP, did numerous of shows to bring the ethnic to the forefront of how, families, black families, were not being treated the same and not getting the same benefits. But it was a battle. It was a fight. And so the Keep Hope Alive Foundation was founded. Shortly after I had got a urgent feel, and I entered back into the military, kind of turned things over to the board of directors there in Connecticut, and kind of let them, went on with their thing. But after my tour of duties with the military in the Army, serving in Afghanistan and serving in Qatar under force security, I'm cutting the chase, y'all. I'm kind of getting ahead, jumping ahead, because I really want to get into some of the things that I want you to look forward to, and some of the discussions that I want to have. But I want you to have the basics. I want you to really listen to my voice and listen to what hope is. Because see, we don't have hope in this present time. But you can't get to the present without bringing up a little bit of the past. A lot of things are happening. And just as they were in Connecticut, well, here in Georgia, in almost the deep South, things are actually, I can say, it really wasn't that bad in Connecticut. But after my tours of duty, I was there in Qatar, and I suffered some injuries from Afghanistan during the conflict there. Developed TBI and PTSD. And after being medevaced from Landstuhl, Germany to Fort Gordon, Georgia, I involved myself in to some programs to where it would have fitted in. It would have did me a whole lot of justice then. But I was at that time to where I had lost hope. I lost faith. And PTSD ain't no joke. It's real. But a lot of the things that you heard me talk about in Connecticut, in New Britain, to where I was vibrant, lively, very outspoken, kind of proper, using, proper English, speaking in a more prominent way. Well, you're not going to get that out of me now. I'm just going to speak to you as if we were just one-on-one normal. I'm not a how do you say? I'm not a theologian. I'm not a theologist. I'm not a mental physician. I'm just a person who cares, who has passion, who has concerns, who gets stepped on a lot and pushed around a lot. But you know what? That doesn't represent hope. I'm a fighter, and that's the hope. So after going through the programs and after doing all that, I kind of had became a procrastinator. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do much. And I just kind of fell, sort of like some would say, off the face of the earth. I had gotten to the I don't care mode. It's not my problem mode. I don't want to be bothered mode. Things I seen, heard, things I saw, things that I was inactive with in Afghanistan. It's easy to hide. It's easy to play it off. I'll never forget my commanding officer in 2008, right prior to us, once we got the news that we were being moved to Afghanistan. He came by and he looked at me and Sergeant Smith. He said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Sir, I can't wait." He said, he just laughed and looked at me and he said, "I've heard that a lot." He said, "We'll see when we get there." Well, he was right, but I would never show it. It was, the missions were off the chain. I was outside the wire every day. And we won't get into that, but it was amazing how suffering traumatically from the blow to the head that led to TBI